I'm Emily,
No, I'm Eric.
and welcome back to You Should Thank Me, a podcast about a married couple in our 40s living in Ontario with their two dogs and lots to talk about.
This week we're talking about spring cleaning and home organization. Yeah, spring, guys. Time to clean the house.
Yeah. I was also thinking we're laughing because we can
I heard a
hear
bird.
I thought that was the neighbors.
It was the neighbors, but I blamed it on a bird in case the neighbors are listening. But anyways, go on. Sorry.
No. No, I don't know. You go.
Yeah. So spring cleaning. Nobody I think likes to do spring. Well, I think I kind of do a little bit. There's parts I like. Because I was just in the shed and I was like, I hate spring cleaning. But I was in the basement. I'm like, I love spring cleaning. Yeah. Maybe it's location.
Probably. I mean, I definitely think it's, when you actually start to see stuff budding on the ground and blooms coming up, I feel like it kind of was inspiring to start anew and start fresh.
Well, my mom was a cleaner for 50 years. And so spring cleaning was like an event at my house. And it wasn't a bad event in the sense that she wanted us, to do certain things. And we weren't really tasked to clean as much as it was to declutter. And I don't know, I don't ever look back at that stuff badly. I actually really enjoy it. And nowadays, when I'm in the basement, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, I can't wait to declutter some stuff with Emily. Because, I hate to put you on blast, but a lot of the stuff downstairs is yours. And I actually think it's half and half because I do have a lot of junk. Junk really in the sense that it's it'll never move because it's collectible stuff. And, but there's stuff where it's just you seem to have decorations for everything.
Yeah, well, given my background in terms of my jobs, I feel like that kind of makes sense. Working in healthcare, being in recreation, and I think just my natural want to sorry?
Vibe, probably. I think
buy. My natural want to buy. That's what
no. Vibe in the sense it's a holiday, let's put some stuff on.
Yeah, I like to be festive. I definitely, there's a little spot in the living room that on our TV console that I try to keep a little bit festive, and it changes with the season. So there's some spring stuff out right now, little Easter eggs and a little birdie. I have a little bunny too that I bring out.
Did your family ever do a spring cleaning thing or was it maybe just naturalized in spring? And
I don't remember us ever doing a big spring cleaning haul or anything like that. I feel probably more I take after my dad's personality in the sense that I think we tend to clean as we go along. We like things to be neat and tidy. So typically there's not a lot of clutter that piles up. And so, yeah, I'm just a minimalist. So I feel I maybe got that from my parents that I just don't like a lot of stuff in the house.
Yeah.
I don't really remember us doing any, or maybe I was just a grumpy teenager not really paying attention.
I was grumpy too. I guess the thing too, it kind of followed me even when I moved out of the house because every year my mom would call and be like, "What are we doing with these comic books? Can I put them in the garbage?" And it was always just that was the first option. Everything needs to go in the garbage. And I'd be like, no, hold on. And I gotta give them props. They held on to a lot of my junk for a while. But every time I'd go up there and visit, I'd take something, I don't know. And it's interesting because they have bins of stuff for each child. That's their stuff. I got trophies and things like that. But yeah, spring cleaning was a huge thing. And I don't know, I enjoy it. We got some, the dogs are really restless. They love talking about spring cleaning, so you might hear them in the background a little bit.
I was going to say, is there, who would you say is the go-to, cleaner? I would say you are always the one that's instigating like to help clean out downstairs or keep like the junk from piling up in the basement? I would say that
It's a
you're.
little bit of both, I think. Like, I think there's certain things where, like, I'm looking at it, and I might mention it to you, but you're the one maybe tasking it. So I don't know, like, I know what you mean, because it is something where I'm like just looking at things and I'm just like, I can't wait for this to go.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, don't really have any epic cleaning stories. I can't think of spring cleaning stories. But I will say, like, after it's done, and if I can, like, get rid of a bin of stuff, I'm like,
It feels good. It definitely feels good. Is there like a cleaning thing that you do that, like a more regular, like cleaning chore that you do that makes you feel like that, where you just like, once it's done, you're just like you feel like a sense of relief, or like when you just look at it, it just like makes you so happy?
Laundry. It's I guess laundry's not,
Yeah, it is.
It's
Yeah,
a chore.
that's a cleaning chore for sure.
Yeah, clean in the microwave.
Mhm.
Because, oh man, we're getting personal. We don't really have a splash guard. And it's not like we use the microwave a lot, but like growing up, I had a splash guard and I miss it because it's not like we like microwave soup every day or anything, but like you get in there and you're like, oh, geez, like, wish we had that. I know they're so expensive too. But like, it's kind of funny because I remember just a quick offside story. I once like microwave popcorn at our house and I put it on the splash guard and it melts the splash guard. And my brother convinced me that splash guards are like $70. And he's like, you're in so much trouble, you're gonna get grounded. So whatever. So like, and this was 2 months ago. No, this was years ago. But like, I was just like, I'm gonna be in so much trouble for ruining this. But yeah, I clean the microwave. Sorry to go off tangent. Cleaning the microwave is a big one for me. And yeah.
I feel like I know it's like you hate doing this, but I like the look of the tub after it's clean because it's just so shiny. It's so pristine. Like, that's what I love. It's just like, it just looks like it's like,
I like that as well.
brand new. Yeah, I know, because you don't have to do it, but yes. You don't like to do it.
Yeah, and I guess like that's getting on to, so I think personally, everyone should be doing every job, because like I find in like couples, like I remember I knew a couple, she cooks dinner, I clean the dishes, which I'm not like a fan of that. I think everyone should do the job if the job needs to be done. I will say though, simultaneously there are certain things that I don't like to do, and cleaning the tub in the bathroom I don't like, and it's the weirdest reason. You use those like Mr. Clean white thumps, and the sound of it like grates my skin. It's like there's certain sounds that like kind of chalkboard me. That's one of them. It's like that like squeaky sound, and it actually like drives me nuts. So I like when before I lived with you, I wouldn't clean the bath as often as I should, and I hate to sound like a grossy on here, but like that and vacuuming. I hate the sound of a vacuum. So that's why I'm like, I'll clean everything up. Yeah. But even when you're gone, like I'll clean the I don't mind cleaning like the toilet and stuff like that, and like I vacuum when you're gone or when you want me to.
Yeah. But it's interesting how you mentioned that everyone like in a couple, like people should just like kind of pitch in and do whatever needs to be done. But I do think though in a lot of ways like we've kind of fallen into like more of the traditional role. I mean, you do 9% of everything, but
and that's a traditional role.
No. Sorry, that like for an example, like you do a lot of the outdoor stuff. Like you always cut the grass, you always shovel the snow, you take out the garbage. Like I feel like sadly those are more like the male.
But you plant stuff. Like,
yeah, which is also, to me though, that's also more female.
But you're also digging. Like, I get what you're saying in those traditional things, and maybe, something that's more labor intensive I'll do, but like, you also can't downplay that you will do labor intensive stuff. And the only reason, like, it's interesting. If you wanted to mow the lawn, I'd have no problem with it. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's timed so well in my day where like, oh, I have lunch, eat my lunch, mow the lawn, back to work. And I just kind of, it's kind of funny. I'm talking about how I hate vacuuming. I love mowing the lawn. And it's funny because again, it's a sound that I hate, but I have my music on and I'll generally catch up on all my shows. You know what I mean? And I'm just having a great time mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I see your point. Yeah. But
I was gonna say too, like, I don't know who does most of the cooking.
I think it's half and half.
I think it's happening too. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's certainly, I go in these modes where I'm like, I don't want to cook anything for like weeks. And, you know, but then I'll get out of that like kind of mull and then I'll just like cook.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know what it is with me sometimes. I'm just like very blasé about cooking. And I think like, I feel like that's pretty normal.
Like for it to come in waves, you mean?
Yeah, I think I couldn't, because like you know, that couple I mentioned, the one that cooks and the one that cleans, like they did not work out. And I think like I talked to her afterwards and she hated cooking after a while. And I'm like, I get it, man.
Like, cause that was like, she was responsible for that, like every day.
Of course. Like, kidding me, the cooking's the hard part. Like, if you think like, you think like it's even, if you think it's even Steven that one person cooks and one person is a dishwasher, then why aren't there shows about dishwashers? You know what I mean?
I guess so.
But all I'm saying is like, I just think like, if you continually cook every day, like you have to get sick of it.
Totally. I was gonna say, shout out to Stephanie who has lent us some cookbooks that are like gluten-free, I think, allergy-free, and some easy vegan recipes. So I've been having some tummy troubles lately, so hopefully that might ease some of my symptoms of my tummy. So thank you for that. So maybe that will create some inspiration for you as well.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't even know where those came from, but that's awesome. She's a beaut. She's the best. Yeah. You know, I'm glad that happened because I was thinking, like we do eat a lot of the same food, and it's not like it's bad. It's just boring after a while. But, you know, I think back at my parents, like when they would cook, it's the same thing. They're just like, we got dumplings one night, we got pasta the next day, and then like once a month we get lasagna. I was like, man, that's the day of my life.
Was it homemade though?
Oh yeah, all of it was homemade. My dad's actually low-key a pretty good cook, but my mom would still kind of do most of the cooking just because like how their
schedules and stuff too, I feel like.
Yeah, and like to kind of round back, like in my household, there wasn't one person doing all the duties. My mom did do a lot of the stuff because my dad worked such long hours. But like when my dad was off, he'd be off for like a few days in a row and he would take care of everything. And then when he retired, the same thing. So in my household, like we never cleaning, cooking, it was never, they did everything. And I was a pretty lazy kid. Like, I wouldn't even say pretty lazy. I was like extremely lazy. I didn't lift a finger until I like moved out. But thankfully I watched them do everything. And when I moved out and had to do my own stuff, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'll just Danny or Judy tonight.
Or call up Carla.
Yeah. I would call Carla sometimes, my sister, when I was too embarrassed to ask my parents, like something stupid. I was like, it's kind of funny. I remember asking her, it's so crazy.
About laundry?
No, it's actually about cleaning a microwave. What do you use to clean a microwave? All-purpose cleaner. Oh, okay, thanks. So like, but don't microwave right after. Like, you'll die. Anyways.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast and there's this person on it and she's kind of like self-described as like very OCD and really loves things to be like super clean. And she was telling me that for Christmas, which was she wanted, but her husband bought her this like super high-tech vacuum that literally like it has like this like scope on it so you can like see how much dirt is actually like on the ground, and then when you like vacuum it you can like it like zooms in to see if all the dirt is gone, and then it also analyzes the dirt that it's picking up. So it's like, is it allergy, is it like dander, is it whatever. I'm like, this is intense. This is gonna, I feel like that would make it worse for me, but she sounds like she really likes it, but I don't know. I'm just like, this is intense. Like, I mean, vacuums, I think having a good vacuum, like, is like a lifesaver, sadly enough. Maybe that's just
Yes,
like an
no.
older person thing, but I feel like that's like extreme. And I know that you vacuumed like what, like a month ago? 2 weeks ago was the last time you
3 weeks ago.
vacuumed. But like vacuuming since, I don't know, the vacuum, I know we just bought it, but I'm already starting not to like it again.
Oh, really? And it's funny because, like, I'm 100% with you. A good vacuum is necessarily, again, that's something my mom always said, cleaning lady for all of her life. And it's funny, she gave us like 3 vacuums when I moved here, and they were all like 100 pounds.
Yeah.
And then I got a vacuum that was operated
Yeah.
and like really lightweight.
Yeah.
Batteries, like, you have to go through 3 of them to do that.
Yeah. And our house isn't big. Our house is only like 1,100 square feet or something.
But we vacuum everything. Like,
Yeah.
like, even the furniture. um, so, oh, that sucks. I didn't know you wanted a new vacuum, but I'll be honest, I wouldn't. The thing is like, that's such cool technology, and I'm not against it, but you will always have that problem with carpets where it's just like allergies. They will never be 100% clean. That's why people get tiles when they're older, and heated tiles, right? Because like it collects dust, but the dust doesn't sit there. So I just think like something like that, like you already know what's in there. You're not really helping. Like, I would rather have a powerful vacuum that's lightweight than. Here, I'm trying to talk you out of it.
No, I don't want that. I don't want the sophisticated vacuum, but maybe a new vacuum. I just don't find that our vacuum is that powerful anymore. It's not even that. It's not even that old. It's only like a couple years old, but
I thought it was pretty good. But
yeah. Add it to the list.
Yeah. Hey, finding out everything on the podcast. I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
I'm scared to go to the next topic. Lucky numbers.
Is that the next topic?
No, I'm just joking. Maybe later. What's a cleaning disaster you've had? I'm actually scared to make coffee because one time I made coffee when I was home alone, and again, like, I was pretty young, like, but I wasn't that young. I feel like I was like 12, 13, and I was like home alone, and I was like, and it was one of those things too, where my parents and I always drank coffee, but I was never a fan of it. But then I was like, I want to have a coffee. I want to be an adult. I literally, I don't know what I did. I can tell you I did it wrong though, because it exploded in the back. And again, like cleaning lady mom, I'm like, I got to clean this thing like pristine, or I'm gonna be dead.
No trouble.
This is just like the splash guard all over again. It's gonna cost $70. So I will say like that. You've seen it. I was like, I don't like making coffee, but I do make coffee now, and it's funny because what's the sad thing is I literally worked as a barista one time in my life.
True.
At one time,
the coffee instant, I guess.
It was instant
before. No, I said was the instance before the barista role.
Yeah, because I was really young when I blew up that coffee machine, and then the barista was during college.
Okay, and so you grew some confidence in that area, and you are kind of, once again, doing it a little bit more at home now. But I mean, our coffee machines, I mean, it's basic, but it's great because you can just like pre-program it at night, and then the coffee's ready at whatever time like you want in the morning. So I feel like I typically just do that every night before bed, so that makes it easy, and it's a pot of coffee fresh to share.
What do you have any cleaning messes that you remember?
I don't know. I feel like that whenever like freaks me out is when like glass breaks. That is like a cleaning. I feel like disaster. Like, because I'm just so paranoid, especially with the dogs. Like that, there's just be like a little glass piece. That just like, because it kicks far when it breaks, right? Like it goes.
Yeah, and there's so many little pieces.
Because I hate when glass breaks. Like that always like scares me.
And it's fun because I break glasses like once a month.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty.
We just bought new glasses because I realized we only had 2 of a set of 6 or something left. I don't understand.
I've gotten better. Like, look, we've been together for several years, and in the early days, I was like breaking glass every 2 weeks, and now I break.
Is that because you were?
I was nervous around it.
You were so nervous around it?
I actually like ripped open my thumb one time breaking glass, like really bad. I had to go into the hospital, and they had to burn it closed. I still got like a little bump there.
Yeah. That was so cute though when you used to be like so nervous around me.
Well, I'm still nervous. It's just, I just make sure I don't have glass in my hand.
Yeah, yeah, you are destined just to use like red Solo cups,
Yeah, but
whether at home or not.
yeah, I do break a lot of glass, and yeah, we did get some new glasses because of it. Hey, you know what? It's a gift that keeps giving, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna clean it. We've never stepped on any, and
Yeah.
I follow the pieces. I'm like, all right, this is the piece I'm looking for. It looks like Africa. I'll just find that in the sink, the Africa, and then all right.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of. I don't think that there's really any other cleaning.
Nothing ever blew up on you? Like you never put the wrong cleaner in a laundry or anything like that?
I'm sure I did one of the classic things, like putting the wrong color in with like whites or something. Like
Yeah.
in laundry. I'm sure. Like I feel like everybody.
I've never done that.
Okay. Well,
Weird flex, but okay.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Everybody but you.
Yeah, I guess.
right?
Yeah. Well, everyone but me like hate spring cleaning, so it all works out, right?
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so the coffee, I remember I blew that up. I'm trying to think. I haven't really done anything too dumb besides that.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe this is getting a little bit gross, but I feel like this spring after winter was really bad with landmines in the backyard, aka from the dogs. So that was like, talk about spring cleaning. I feel like that was like, I don't even know how long that took us, and I don't know. It was just I feel like it was very layered, literally.
Yeah.
Like, it would snow, and then the poop would freeze, so we couldn't really like clean it up because we'd be stuck, and then it would snow again, so there'd be like a new fresh layer.
Yeah, it was just
It was-
landmines for sure.
Yeah, it was bad. So that maybe is like part of the spring cleaning
Yeah, but
checklist if we can't, because the winter prior was very mild, so I don't think we were able to actually clean it like we do in the summer, where it's just like pretty much like as they're going, we're just cleaning it up. So that was not fun. That was a little bit disastrous because it was a lot.
yeah, I agree 100% everything you said on that. Like the weather was so odd this year, and we couldn't stay on top of it like we usually do. And then all of a sudden the snow just melted. Like we got 20 Celsius and everything was there. And it's like, okay, well, let's clean this all up and put it away. And yeah, it became pretty, it was a big load, I guess, like you could say. But yeah, that was not fun. And I just don't think anyone likes cleaning that sort of stuff up.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, I guess some people hire people to like come in and like clean up their dogs like poop in the yard.
Yeah, if I hit the lottery, for sure I'll do it.
I was gonna say, is there a cleaning task if you could like buy it, like if you could pay someone to do that task, like, and you don't have to worry about it for the rest of your life, and it wasn't like, an exorbitant amount of money, like what task would that be?
It's tricky, right? Because like if I could skip any menial task like that, I would and pay for it. I have interest in that, but at the same time, like there's a part of me when it comes to cleaning where it's just like that's just a part of your life. So cleaning doesn't really. I don't have a cleaning task in particular. I will say, and we've talked about this before. I've been washing dishes for too long in my life. I remember growing up, I had a dishwasher, and you had to do it. And then, like the last over 20 years, I've been washing dishes. I would love to have a dishwasher.
That's true.
And it's just it's just like the setup in our house, like our kitchen, is just really janky.
It's too tight. It's just too tight.
Yeah, and it's an old house too. There'd be a lot of trickery in getting it done. And yeah, that would be one thing that I'd be for. But at the same time, like, I do the dishes. It's 10 minutes of my time and I'm done. There's not really a task because again, my mom was a cleaning lady. So in my head, it's like, okay, well, you got to hire a cleaning lady or a cleaning man. Yeah, that I would never, nothing really bothers me. I just think it's like a part of the thing.
Yeah.
I have the annoying tasks, but like, again, like if you weren't here, I would do them, like the tub and the vacuuming more often. But everything else is just like an everyday thing that you just do.
I mean, I would love to, I don't know, I guess this isn't really like a task, but like if someone going back to the cooking thing,
Oh,
like if I could have like,
if I could have a private cook or something.
yeah, yeah, that would be amazing. That'd be the dream, but I mean, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Might as well crush that dream now.
I'm 100% with you there. Like, yeah, if I could have like a private cook of some sort, and like just even if like they didn't even have to, if someone just delivered me food or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
sure. They don't have to like be here.
Yeah,
Like,
because
be
like,
in your kitchen.
because like the next problem is like I get to see this cook every day, and I'm like, hey, how's it
Right.
going, Ted?
Yeah,
And like Ted's in a mood today. It's just, he's really,
yeah,
calling it in on the beans. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Then I think if it was like a specific cleaning task, I don't know. Mine probably might. It'd be either the dishes or vacuuming. It probably would be vacuuming because I feel like vacuuming takes longer too,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
guess you're probably doing it less frequently, but like doing the dish versus doing the dishes.
No,
Yeah,
I don't find vacuuming takes that long. I think like back to spring cleaning, I think like washing walls and like,
Ugh.
trying to get cobwebs out of corners and stuff like that's where the real work is. And also like the dust balls and stuff like that. Like that's where I find there's real work. I find vacuuming, you just like you go over it a couple times and you just do your thing
Mm-hmm.
and then you're done. And because it's carpet, like, as long as you don't see specks and stuff, and you see like that the little vacuum,
The
the lines,
That is
and
very satisfying.
the lines look so good.
I know, but like they never stay.
No.
They're there and then they've disappeared.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any cleaning gadgets?
A toothbrush.
You have pickers. You have garbage pickers. That's
Oh.
that's sort of a gadget.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I guess that's one thing that maybe I mentioned in the first episode. I like to, and I've only done like I call them runs, a small run of. I like to go on the street and pick up garbage. I have a little garbage bag and a garbage picker, and I just go up and down the street and pick up garbage. But where we're at, like the wind kind of funnels garbage into trees and stuff, so there's a lot of garbage down the road that I need to really work on. And it annoys me. It's not in my purview as much, but in my head, I do it just because it's one of those things where if someone sees me doing it, I hope that they get like kind of the bug to like, oh yeah, I'll clean up my corner. It's the pay it forward in my head. And I saw someone the other day on the side of the highway doing it, and it had like a little cart with the garbage bag in it. I was like, man, if I see a cart for a cheap price,
there you go. That's a hack.
That's my cleaning.
That's
your cleaning.
It's a trend.
I got my little garbage picker, and I'll find the odd beer can, and I'll put that in another bag just to return it all to the beer store. Just doing the part, and but it's a pretty clean corner. It's just after winter, like everything just accumulated, so it looks really awful.
Well, I just read that the city of like Waterloo or Waterloo region or whatever, like municipality is going to be changing their garbage cans to like, obviously how now they're just like the circular with like the lid.
Yeah.
They're going to change them to like the tall ones with the lid that like opens.
Okay.
And then just basically like the compost bin, but like bigger.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, I just was reading, there's just so much like chatter online about like the pros and cons of these bins. Like, and what I think is really good about them obviously is that because they're not like open, like especially recycling, I don't know if they're going to be doing recycling bins, which is like the first question to be like, hey, it needs to be like all three of them, like garbage, compost, and like recycling. Because like the recycling, even if it happened like this past Friday, like it was so windy and there was like all the trash just like was starting, or all the recycling rather, started to like blow into the recycling bin, and then it goes into the ravine.
So the recycling bins will be a top.
I don't know. They only showed a picture of the garbage can, and so people once again online are commenting to be like, well, what about the recycling bin, because all this, because it's like open, stuff just like is loose and then it lands on your neighbor's yard. So it's like, if they're not doing the recycling bin with a lid is like really dumb, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then with the garbage can, I was thinking, and people once again are commenting to be like, well, how tall is it going to be? because I have an outdoor garbage like bin shed. So now they might not fit
Well,
in your
like,
garbage thing.
wah. Like in my head, it's like with the blue bin, you're right. Things blow over.
Yeah.
And that's most people. I wouldn't say it happens to most people, but there's,
It happens.
the nature will push things over. If you can find something that works better, then yeah, go for it. And it's just like, people are gonna complain. Like,
No, I know, but I'm also just saying from our perspective though. Like
yeah,
I think that would be helpful.
I think honestly, recycling, I'd be more curious on what they would do with garbage bins, because I think the better your garbage bin is, the better that pests can't get into it.
Yeah.
And that's more like there's more room to get better there, because
Yeah.
like you just have to watch like a documentary about New York and their mice. It's
The
just
rats.
yeah, it's insane.
Mhm.
And it's mostly because of just like the fact that rats can get to food. And if you can find something that will,
Raccoons.
raccoons here, but we have rats. So,
Yeah, and someone did comment on that too, to be like, oh, are these like, I don't know if they said like pest proof, but they're like, oh, well, like, how am I gonna stop raccoons and stuff from like just going in and opening? Because they're smart and they'll learn,
Yeah.
and especially if they're hungry, they'll
and that's
whatever they need to
one
do.
quick thing I'd like to ask is like, if anyone is not in Ontario, I need to know how smart the raccoons are there, because they are super smart here. The raccoons like open up in Toronto, they open up the things, and they're a bunch of thieves.
They are.
And it's crazy because
So
I've never, I was about to say, I've never met an animal that's more cute
Yeah.
and very intelligent, but literally the thief of animals.
Yeah. Very
Steal every garbage.
very mischievous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Mhm. The other thing that I was thinking about, in terms of like satisfying like cleaning, is like a power washer.
Yeah.
And how like the night and day of that, like cleaning off like a deck or whatever, like just like the difference in color, and that's pretty satisfying.
Yeah. Well, I never really had a power. Well, I do have a power washer. I just don't have anything to hook it up to.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've never really seen that. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the power washer like that. Generally on the side, I think.
Oh, of our house, or you mean like when you're
Of the
cleaning?
parents' house, yeah. And I never really.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, is there any takeaways about lessons learned about keeping the house clean?
It's a daily thing.
Yeah.
In my head, I think. I think honestly that we've talked about all kinds of things, but the easiest piece of advice is if it looks like it needs to be done, do it. Don't. And the one thing I look at is garbage. Like if garbage is too full and you can't pack it down, just do it. Don't wait for the next person to do it.
Wow.
You laugh at that.
Don't wait for the next person to do it. You mean don't wait for me to do it? Is what you're saying? Because there's no other next person in this house.
It's funny.
Like I don't think.
I'm so sorry for saying it that way, but like bear in mind, like that rule came into my head when I had roommates. Not just the way. I'm sorry that is. I didn't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. It's just like if it needs to get done, just do it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny actually. Sorry, I know I'm going on a slight tangent here, but when I was visiting one of my friends in Toronto a couple weeks ago, she was saying that she never pushes the trash down with her hand because of what happened to my dad.
Oh.
And he made a mistake of pushing the trash down with his hand, and shortly after, like 2 weeks later, him and I went on a father-daughter trip to Switzerland, and his hand ended up getting infected, and he had to have surgery in Switzerland for his darn hand. And so Pam just told me this like recently that she never pushes the garbage down with her hand because of like what happened to my dad. And I don't either, actually. Like I always use my foot.
I use my foot too.
Which is probably not really that much better, but I am wearing slippers typically,
Yeah.
so maybe that will protect my foot, but I guess the same thing could happen.
It could.
Foot, but so yeah, that's maybe my hot tip is don't, even if the garbage can is full, A, maybe take it out, or B, don't push it down with your hand.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's crazy because I use my foot too. I use the shoe, but yeah, that was crazy. And because your dad had to have surgery, you had to drive in Switzerland.
Yeah,
You had to do all the driving.
I had to drive like one of my aunt's vans because the car that we had rented was stick shift and I couldn't drive stick. So one of his sisters had to come pick us up from the B&B that we were staying at, which was probably like maybe an hour away or something from their house. And we had to pack up. And it was like just like a day surgery. So it was just a day surgery. So his sister had to drive the stick shift rental, and then I had to drive the van on the Autobahn, and I'm just like, what is life? Like, what is happening?
It's supposed to be a relaxing trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good idea. Just, be careful out there, guys.
Yeah.
These are how the dominoes fall. My mom always says too is never put towels in the dryer. I don't know how true that is. I don't listen to it. She's like, bear in mind, like we used to do a lot of air hanging stuff. Like we had the line, and we in this backyard do have a thing to put a line up, but like it's they get janky. It's like
it's a weird spot, and it's under a bunch of trees.
Yeah,
because the birds will probably poop on it. It doesn't get that much sun. But actually, recently when I was on a walk, a couple days ago, which was like -2 out, and there was like I saw a person up the street have like clothes out on their line. I'm like, when you bring in the clothes, are they just gonna be like frozen?
That's a great question, actually. I don't know.
I was so confused.
You're right. I just don't know what the degrees is when it's like you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
and I think you're right. -2 is too cold.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, sorry, I don't know what you were saying.
Oh no, but we ended up using like that line to hang some lights up and stuff. And
we kind of repurposed it. So
it doesn't look that dumb.
No, I feel like
the plant.
Yeah, we've been slowly making improvements to the yard. So more improvements to come this year to the yard. Maybe we can talk about that at some other time too. Once it's actual gardening season.
Yeah, a lot of tangents in this.
I know. Sorry, we're sort of all over the place. Yeah. But one thing sort of led to the next.
Like, yeah, and it's spring cleaning. Like, look, you look at it and you're like, oof, I'm gonna talk about spring cleaning, but you got some good stories out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put your hand in the garbage. You'll cut it, and then you'll need surgery.
Mm-hmm.
If you're nervous around a significant other, don't wash the dishes. You'll break glass.
Yeah, just don't carry glass.
There's these fancy new vacuums that figure stuff out for you.
Yeah.
But I will say, when we do get a little bit later in the year, we will have to do a yard / plant podcast, because we kind of got into that last year way more in depth. Like we've always been like trying to plant stuff, and it just never worked out.
Mm-hmm.
But last year I thought we did it.
We upped our game a bit.
Yeah, and we really came through. So don't want to get into that too much because we're still in the cold weather. But yeah, for sure that will be an episode.
Maybe in May or something.
Yeah,
like May 24 or.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're still listening, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, any random questions that I can ask? I would love to ask a random question.
Oh, I thought are we wrapping up and doing our?
I want to ask one quick random question.
Okay? Oh, okay.
Lucky numbers.
Okay.
I need to know your lucky numbers.
Okay.
And unlucky numbers too. This you could. I don't want to like something.
I have.
Quickly though, my mom does not like talking about unlucky numbers. She's a bit of an oddball.
Superstitious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not superstitious, but a little stitious. Yeah.
Okay, I would say probably my favorite number is number 11, because that was the hockey jersey number that my dad wore when he used to like play like pickup, like scrimmage hockey.
Yeah.
So I kind of like adopted that number naturally, and then my two other favorite numbers are 18, because that I know it's such a
I think this is the first time I've ever heard you say 18 to me, and that's a random number.
Because that was also a hockey jersey number that was my second option, kind of that had come up when 11 was taken on a team. Then for some reason, like 18, I don't know if it was maybe assigned to me, and then I just kind of, took it under my wing and sort of like made it become my number. And then the other number is, which maybe this is weird, but number 3, because like I'm born on the 3rd.
Yeah.
So I also like the number 3, I would say. And 25 is really good too. So.
Why 25? Because of Christmas?
No, it's also like hockey.
Oh, well, it goes back to 25, 25 just because it's like a...
I don't know. I don't know. Once again, I don't know if it was just like kind of assigned to me and then I sort of adopted it. But there was never, I don't recall like an affinity towards 25. I think, yeah, it was just, so a lot of them are like hockey based and then just like my birthday date, which I don't know if that's,
It's so funny.
that's weird.
And no, it's actually funny because one of my unlucky numbers, not to give too much, but it would be 6. And
Okay.
and I just don't like that number.
You know what number I don't like is
Yeah.
number 7 because so many people like it and it annoys me.
Well,
So I just do the opposite.
So my favorite number is 7.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 13.
They're both, well, 7 was when I was much younger. I wore 7 all the time. And then I just think it's a cool number. Nothing goes into it. It's just an infallible number. But then 13 became way more important because a lot of like important dates in my life land on 13. And it was like that. And I actually wore it a lot in my kind of college years, like playing baseball and stuff like that. And I just was like, it was a lucky number. Well, everyone else thought it was unlucky. But like I found, yeah, 7 and 13 are my numbers, and you have told me, it's funny because you have told me that 7 sucks and stuff, and I get it. But 6 to me is such an opposite of 7, so that's why I kind of don't like it. And I don't know, like you're right. A lot of NHL jersey numbers, hockey jersey numbers, are cool. Like because
like the higher,
yeah.
higher ones,
like baseball just finally got with like higher numbers, but like there was never a 99. Other sports, you know what I mean? But like, and that comes from 9, and then that comes from 4. Like, there's like, and then someone started wearing 19, and these all like are respect numbers for players, right? So I always love that about like hockey numbers because every number has a story, and that's kind of why I like the lucky numbers. Kind of comes back to 7, 13, and it's not like I think of these numbers. I'm like I gotta play with a lotto with them, but I think of them more of like I'm like, hey, that happened 7 times. Having a good day or something like that. Yeah.
And I've also like I have grown to like, I mean, the number 13 used to not mean anything to me, but because it means so much to you, and then we obviously we got married on the 13th of September. So that now obviously has a like significance to me. So I like 13, but I do know like even a couple of my friends like are superstitious about the number 13 and don't like the number 13, but yeah,
I don't know who they are, but
I know I'm not
don't point
saying
them
names.
out.
I'm not saying names.
Yeah. So okay, now we can wrap it up because I got my random question out, and I can now deep breath. You know, talked about cleaning and then got the lucky numbers out. So yeah.
All right. Well, the last thing that we try to do at the end of every podcast is say something that we're thankful for this week. I don't know if you have something.
I do.
Okay.
So I went on a little mini trip this week, so Ali kind of held down the house. But
That's me.
Yeah, sorry, Emily.
I go by both.
I sorry for bringing that up, episode 3, but yeah, it's like a pet name.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she had to take out the trash, which included something we kind of mentioned earlier, landmine-ish, and it was very heavy.
Very heavy.
And I told her, I was like, this is heavy. I hope that you're fine. And she did it, and I really appreciate it because I felt really bad leaving it for her. I'm like, I'm going to do this as best as I can. And she did it. And I know, like, it's like, oh, yeah, thanks for taking out the trash.
Yeah.
But it was a job.
It was a job. I had to definitely, use my core strength and my quads for that one. So yes, I guess you're welcome. And then my thanking you this week, is actually for like yesterday / last night. I was out with some friends and it's like a half an hour drive away from where we live. So, and I wanted to have a couple beverages. So Eric dropped me off and then picked me up at like 1 a.m. So yeah, that was very, very thoughtful, and that's definitely not the first time that you've done that. So I appreciate you kind of planning your night around me, really.
Yeah,
and driving. So thank
you. No problem. I enjoy taxiing around sometimes, especially like night driving's the best. Like,
yeah,
but
pretty quiet.
Yeah,
but Awesome. Well, once again, we appreciate if you've listened up to, stuck in there. And I know it was a little bit of a, here, there, everywhere episode. But yeah, thank you for listening, and tune in for, stories from next week. And we're excited to have you here.
We'll see you next week, and you have yourselves a good week, eh?
All right. Bye.